Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Real Talk with Brian Poduska. I am Lyndon Wilson. I am the creator of Difference, where we host Real Talk with Brian Poduska. Brian will be following up in just a second. I want to come in and just introduce myself, talk a little bit about the difference, and tell you about Brian's show as well. As I said, I am Lyndon Wilson. We created the Difference going on about a year and a half ago. It was all about business in the beginning, and it's transformed several different times over the past year. Some due to COVID, and some just due to the reasons that we are finding ways to help small businesses even more than what we were before. And so what we're doing now is we really use the difference in the platforms that we have, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, a lot of different social media platforms, to find this area and local small businesses and help promote them, help them get more awareness. Last year we had over 500,000 viewers, and so we were able to get some of the small businesses in our community that work so hard, not only for themselves and their family, but they work really hard to that community thrive and do well and help the people inside there. And so we take those small businesses, we help them create shows, we help them bring on guests that are in their community, and so hopefully making the difference within the small business community and our communities that we live in. Having said that, I am now going to go and bring in the host for today, Brian Poduska with Real Property Management Focus. What's going on, Brian?
Not much, Lyndon. Well, I shouldn't say that. A lot's going on. We've been through the hell and back the last couple of weeks here in Texas, but yeah, no. That being said, hey, I'm still live and kicking, so it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Yep, it is all good. Excited about your guest today. I know you've got one that he's people that watch this at any of our shows has seen that guest on. He's going to talk about something that you guys are doing together that I think is just super cool, especially if you are I'm not going to steal his thunder. I'll just say homeowner. I'll let him say what he's going to say later. But it was very, very clever. And then you've got another guy that I'm just now meeting and can't wait to hear his story as well.
Yeah, we do. We've got some awesome guests today, and I will say the theme of the show today is going to be hail no, because we're entering the hail season here in Texas, and we've got Daniel Cook, one of our sponsors, owner of DFW Cook Roofing and Restoration, joining us to give you some watch outs and some good advice as homeowners here in the area, what to watch out for during hail season from a roofing perspective. And then we have Mike Nosker, who's the owner of an awesome auto repair shop in Louisville. It's called Metro Dent, newly rebranded Autopia. So we'll bring Mike on as well to walk you through what his services are, put a little spotlight on Mike and his business. I know countless folks who've been helped by him with any auto needs. It's not just hail related, but because we've got the topic of hail, he certainly specializes in that as well. So yeah, let me just give a brief overview of us, Real Property Management Focus. We focus on your real estate investments. So we are a full service property management company, basically working for you as a property owner who has rental property to take you out of the equation with your tenants. So when I say full service, I mean we do property location, property purchase. We do the management piece, obviously, so find you the right tenants who are going to pay your rent and take care of your property. We collect rent, we coordinate maintenance. We do evictions as necessary. We do inspections before move-in, post-move out, basically taking you out of the equation as a property owner. So that is us in a nutshell. We do have some really cool tools I will mention really quickly. It's called Wealth Optimizer. It's a way to analyze an investment property from all different angles, not just looking at cash flow and cap rates and things like that, in the investment community. We're also taking into account depreciation, specific neighborhood appreciation, and the tax benefits that you get from, the write-offs that you have with a rental property. So, check us out if you're a seasoned investor. Certainly we can help you with that, or we can walk you through some of the basics if you're just thinking about getting into real estate investing and leveraging the equity in your home to do so. And that's actually a pretty good segue to our first guest. Let's bring in Brian Dobbs and let's talk about the seminar, Lennon, that you touched on very briefly there and stole a tiny bit of thunder, but we'll let Dobbs come in and just nail it with
That's
the
just
rest
how I am.
Well, I wouldn't expect anything different, Lyndon. It's really good to see you today.
I can't help myself.
Well, you know what? I understand that. That's why we're good friends. So, Brian, thanks again for allowing me to be a part of the program. I really enjoy your program, enjoy what you're doing. And I know you and I have a lot of similarities and we resonate on a lot of factors, and it's just really good. So appreciate you guys letting me be on today.
Yeah, well, thanks for joining us. And I mean, I'm going to speak for myself here, and I know you are as well. But I'm excited for tonight, man. This, we've got what is this? The third or fourth real estate investing seminar that we've been developing and crafting. And Lennon, you've been to, I think you were at the first one.
Yes.
And I'm looking forward to doing it again tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I am super excited about this one. This is actually our third one. And every single time we do it, we get better. And there are more questions that we field from people that have attended, or our partner network, which allows us to sharpen our saw. It allows us to grow. It allows us to expand our foundation to grow bigger and to help more people. And that's been just exhilarating for me.
Yeah, I mean, that's, we talk about our principles and why, the why of why we're doing it. And really it does come down to helping people attain their goals and leverage what they currently have to, get to those goals quicker. That is, one of my key takeaways from the why of why we're doing it. And just give a brief overview, if you don't mind. I know we've got, my tagline, as I've talked about it out there, has been, hey, if you've got $150,000 or more of equity in your home, come check us out, because we can help you, leverage that equity and do it fairly painlessly. Because I think that's what a lot of folks have as a hurdle as to why they don't get into real estate investing. But give us a really brief overview of what our target market would be for the seminar, and kind of go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So one, just to hear the story, I've bought houses, I've sold houses, I've owned them. I don't know if I was the best homeowner for a while. I know I wasn't. I don't know if I was the best buyer for a while. I wasn't. And I know I wasn't the best seller for a while. Even though I basically grew up in a house with a real estate agent, I've been in this market, in this industry for years. But it hit me, what are we doing with what we have? And Brian, you talk about the $150,000 of equity. I can tell you that a lot of people just don't know how much equity that they have in their house. And it's not doing them any good. One, it's not doing you any good if you don't know what you have. And number two, it's not doing you any good if you don't know how to use what you have. So we actually, in this seminar, teach you how to utilize that equity that is stuck into your house in order to reduce debt, to create additional income streams, or even generate wealth, build up for retirement, pay off your house in 10 years or less. We show you the strategies that you can use to be proactive and turn your house in from just a passive asset to an active asset. It is a wealth of information. A lot of people take notes. I even have a testimonial, Brian. The neat part about it, and you've seen it before, the video that we show at the seminar with one of our agents, a person I coached for a couple of years. They did this same principle and doing a lateral move, and really turned their financial situation upside down or right side up, so to speak. I mean, they made it so much better that they're thrilled.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing that I love about this is, you're getting a lot of the same information. I mean, there's a ton of different real estate seminars out there. Let's not kid ourselves, right? So the concept isn't new.
Sure.
But what I do like about this is, which other ones that I've been to personally doesn't have a couple different things, right? So number one, it's free. We're not charging anything for the information. And then number two, it's the team approach. And that's what I love about it. And that's why, we're partnered up on this, in that, in order to get things across the goal line, forgive the football reference here, but, we're on, if you've been thinking about doing real estate investing and you're on that, 2-yard line, but you're just not getting it into the end zone, well, you've got a team of folks that are ready and willing to help you take it into the end zone here. And that's what I love about the approach with this seminar in particular. It's free, and you've got a team at your disposal to help you get into it.
Absolutely. And let me just segue into that, because you asked me about the target audience, and I don't even think I hit on the target audience. Lyndon taught me a lot.
Yes.
And I did not answer the question. And I know I didn't.
Oh, I took notes. I took notes. I was going to wait till your segment was about over before I told you.
I figured you would. So the target audience, Brian, what we have targeted right now is homeowners. You've lived in the house for 5+ years. You have some equity. You don't know how much equity. We help you find that equity. We help you identify how much you have. And then we brought in on this seminar tonight, and there's still room, Brian. We have 5 or 6 spots left, which is fantastic, especially with the show and the timing that we have. It's at 6:00 at Jake's tonight in Frisco, and I know we'll get into that. But if you're a homeowner,
only,
go ahead.
SRO, standing room only.
Yes, I'm sure Jake will love that. I talked to the general manager as my friend, and we need to have everybody seated. But the target audience is the homeowner that's lived in their house several years, that has equity, may or may not know how much. If you have $150,000 of equity, there are so many things that you can do with that. You are not stuck. And that's the greatest part about teaching this, is we teach people how to save money. So if you don't want to move, we can teach you principles of how to save money. What is the best way to increase your standard of living without increasing the cost of living? And Lyndon, you came up with that terminology. I've just borrowed it from you.
I was thinking, man, that sounds familiar. Where did I hear that before?
He'll send you an invoice on that later.
I'm telling you, I've gotten a lot of invoices from him, by the way. So, and we teach you how to reduce your debt and just get out into a positive cash flow. And again, it's that homeowner that wants to grow and just needs additional data, information, resources. And like you said, Brian, it's that team approach. We have a panel discussion tonight. It is very interactive. You don't have to, you're not going to sit through a lecture. You're actually going to sit into a fun environment. We really have some fun people. I don't think we're all boring. And I geek out on some things, guys. I really do. And I love it. I love my numbers. I love the science behind it. It's fantastic. But then we have some fun people that are going to join us as well. And it's just great. It's just a great seminar, great energy, and great people.
Well, and at the end of the day, the worst thing that happens, you learn nothing and you still have burgers and beers. So it's all good.
True. True.
Win-win.
Awesome. Well, hey, let's flash up the one pager if we can, Lyndon. There's the details on it. It is tonight, Thursday, March 4th, 6 to 8 p.m. at Jake's Burgers and Beer. That's the address on that, 6195 Main Street, Frisco. It is downtown Frisco, right across the street from the U.S. Soccer Hall of Fame and Toyota Stadium. And you can see what you're going to learn. Learn how to increase cash flow, reduce debt, create income, and end goal, generate wealth. So there you have it. Come on out. See us tonight.
Good deal. I'll see you guys at 6:00.
Perfect.
Thank you, guys.
See you, Brian.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, man. Awesome. Cool. Well, Lennon, you've been to it. You can give you've had some glowing reviews on it in the past. I know it struck you as unique because I know you have been in the, at least ancillarily in the real estate space. So give us your quick testimonial before we transition over to our next guest.
Quick testimonial for me, I guess, as brief as I can put this, is I think that there's a lot of people out there that go from renting into home ownership, and they kind of conduct the home ownership the same way they did the rental, other than they've got some more responsibilities now. You'll never build wealth paying renting. You'll build wealth as a rental owner. You well know that. But I think that what they're not educated on is when they come out and become homeowners, just how you can build wealth by making your normal house payment, right? There's just a way to own to there's a different perspective that you can go into home ownership that can do more than just give you a place to live. And that's what this does. And it fits anybody. It fits anybody. It doesn't necessarily have to be, a certain, demographic or certain house price or anything like that. This fits everybody. And the same formula works for, the $150,000 home and the $1 million home. So that's what I would say. If it's the best seminar I've ever seen, it really is. So
well, we'll take that Google review and we'll consider that a 5-star.
So. We do have Daniel join us. I don't know when you want to bring him on, but one of your sponsors for your show is joined backstage. So I just want to let you know that.
Perfect. Yeah, I was actually hoping he would join up front rather than later. So let's go ahead and bring Daniel in. There he is. What's up, Daniel?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey, we're doing great.
Doing well. Good to see you.
Thanks for joining us today. I said up front the theme of the show is Hail No, but in your case it may be Hail Yes, because hail always brings about a bit more business in the roofing industry in particular. So for those who don't know, Daniel Cook, he is the owner of DFW Cook Roofing and Restoration. And he, recently opened a business at the end of last year and is really hitting the ground running this year. And Daniel's been in the roofing business for a bit, but, like I said, there it is, hail no. Recently opened up his own business and wanted to bring Daniel on the show because we did have a hailstorm, although it was minor last Thursday, which I know brought a lot of the sharks out. It always does, and the bigger the hailstorm, the more states roofers come from and descend upon the DFW area and Texas in general. But what we want to do is bring you on the show today just to kind of give homeowners a kind of a watch out or what to look for as folks are inevitably going to come knocking on their door. Or if they do, they may not even do that. They may just jump up on your roof. So that's not a uncommon thing. So Daniel, if you could just kind of walk us through and our audience through like what to watch out for, what to look for if you are approached, during this hail season.
Sure, Brian. Thank you for asking and having me on. But you brought up some good points. Some things to always think about is what kind of references do these companies have? Are they a reputable company that has BBB certification? Do they have Google reviews? Do they have a website that's local? Do they have referrals and references available? And also when they first come out, especially after a hailstorm, you're going to get all kinds of people knocking on your door, stopping you in your yard, asking you, can they jump up on your roof? You also got to remember that anytime you allow somebody on your property, you're responsible for those individuals. So if they happen to fall off their bills. But as far as the companies, I just seen a whole bunch of guys coming out after that small hailstorm that we had, and they were circling all kinds of stuff on these roofs, trying to scare these homeowners into filing claims. And that's just a bad business practice. And we're not talking like just out of town roofers. We're talking sometimes in town roofers that are pretty large. And they are basically sending out untrained individuals that have not gone through certifications and have not really gone through storms before and don't know how to really recognize hail and what isn't and what is acceptable damage levels. And so you do want to, make sure you ask and challenge the people that's on your property. Show me the pictures of the hail. What makes this hail versus mechanical? What is the level of damage I have to have on each slope? What is the insurance, is going to is this going to be condemned by the insurance, or is this going to not be? Homeowners, they don't want their property ruined, and so they take the word of some of these guys, and then they find out later when their insurance comes out, they really don't have a lot of damage, and then that turns into a zero claim. And then when you have a zero claim, that goes against your inquiries. And so insurance looks at that and says, okay, well, if this customer's calling us trying to start a claim all the time, this could be a problem long term because they're just trying to make money off insurance. So, and insurance industries are very smart. They have a way of tracking that within the industry. So even if you leave, let's say you're with Allstate now and you leave and go with State Farm, that history stays with your insurance record, should we say. And so State Farm, when they, bid you, they're probably going to bid you a little bit higher because you have a lot of inquiries. So just got to be careful. You got to really do your research. This is a big project. Roofing is not a simple project. There's a lot of things that can go wrong. Leaks and materials, everything that you can imagine. And so you definitely want to do your research and make sure you feel comfortable, know, like, and trust, right? That's what we say. So make sure you do all those kind of things.
Now that's great. That's great advice. And, that the reason you're here is because we all know, like, and trust you. If you guys out there ever do need any consult or any second opinion, if you're ever in doubt, Daniel will go out to your home for free, take a look, do an assessment, and really give you that honest opinion that he's looking out for you as the homeowner and doesn't want that insurance issue if there's not enough damage to warrant a claim, or he knows that there's not, the adjuster's going to come out and say, yeah, you've got some damage, but it's going to be minimal dollar value, then it's not worth your time and effort as a homeowner to file one. He's going to tell you that. So appreciate you hopping on. I see you're driving, so stay safe out there, Daniel. Anything you want to say in particular about Cook DFW Roofing Restoration?
I think you said it best. We're out here trying to help and educate. And if you need a second opinion, a third opinion, take your time, make an educated decision. That's all I can say. Perfect.
Well, hey, thanks for jumping in and educating our audience a little bit, because we are hail season is upon us. So just be careful out there. All right, buddy.
All right. Thanks so
See
much,
you, Daniel.
guys. Y'all have a great day.
You
See
too.
man. Cheers. All right, awesome. Well, let's bring on our next guest, since we're on the topic of hail, and Mr. Nosker coming on now. Certainly has dealt with his fair share of hailstorms and the resultant damage from it. Mike, you out there, buddy?
Yes, sir.
All right. How you doing today?
I'm doing quite well. How are you guys?
Hey, we're hanging in, having a good time. Hey, why don't you give us just a brief overview, or it doesn't have to be brief. I know you've got a pretty cool story and how you decided to open your business. And, frankly, the first time I had heard your business, I didn't realize just how big your facility is and frankly, all the stuff you can do. So walk us through a little bit of the history, and then, where you're located, and then we'll get into some of the work that you do. And before we do that, we can bring in we can talk a little bit about our sponsors. So we'll kind of break you up into two sections. Just give us the overview of how you got started, and then we'll talk about some sponsors, and then we'll get into a little bit more detail.
Sure. So again, I just wanted to say up front, thank you guys for having me on. I think it's an amazing opportunity to sit and talk with you guys, but also anybody else watching, and can really appreciate what you guys are trying to do. So the history of MetroDent, it was actually originally started by my friends Jeremy and Stephanie. I've been in the repair and reconditioning industry, most of the time focused on hail, but for the last 26 years, where I've worked hailstorms or wind claims, all types of different repair needs in every state in the U.S., and I've actually been on 6 of 7 continents. And one of my dreams was always to have a what I like to consider a one-stop or smart shop that offers every type of automotive service to people in that area. And that's exactly what I did in 2018. I finally got done traveling and flying all over the world and doing different types of repairs and reconditioning needs. I bought MetroDent from my friends in 2018 and started to slowly build that process and team to make that one-stop shop for customers. So when they wanted something done to their vehicle, and I should also mention, we also do marine work too. So we do boats, jet skis, and everything. But I wanted to find that one place that, or develop a place that somebody could go and get 4 or 5 things done to a vehicle or a boat that they would typically have to go to 3 or 4 different businesses in order to achieve that. So that's kind of what the rebranding of the name from MetroDent to Autopia. I still have them both. And actually, I do have a third, Boatopia, just because what I learned is so many customers would come in for one thing and go, hey, wow, I had no idea that you did all this other stuff now, and your name doesn't really do you justice. So I started to try and rebrand it a little bit, but obviously with last week's hailstorm, the doors have been wide open and pretty busy with customers coming in with hail damage from the Frisco and McKinney area. So, but again, it's beginning of the season. Listening to Daniel talk before, at least on the housing side and roofing, it's actually quite different in the automotive industry. So it's always nice to be able to pick up some thoughts and stuff about how insurance and everything works from automotive versus property. And that's kind of one of the other things that I think that I really bring to the community is the fact that I have traveled all over the world. I've seen a lot of different type of repair and reconditioning techniques, efficiencies. So I've just taken those 20 plus years experience and combined them to provide the Dallas-Fort Worth, North Texas community or people. We actually have clients that ship cars in and have us do a lot of different things, but just wanted to be able to provide them a one-stop shop that can provide them all the services that they need from a trusted source.
Yeah, and that's what the first time I heard the deep dive on your business, my eyes were wide open because that was before you rebranded to Autopia. Which I love that name because it really does kind of evoke the fact that you do everything that you can or that's needed on a vehicle. But yeah, that kind of really opened my eyes. And then I saw the size of the facility. I'm like, okay, now that makes a little bit of sense. So let me, I got to ask you this question. So I'm assuming Antarctica is the one continent you haven't been on?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm sure they have plenty of ice and different types of stuff, but no need for me to go there.
Yeah, there may be a bit of heavy machinery there, but just maybe 1 or 2 things. So probably not a lot of opportunity. Tell us how, or I guess why and how did you get the opportunity to travel the world, with and some of the techniques, I guess, that you learned that a lot of folks around here probably either haven't seen or maybe not even have heard of.
Yeah. So actually getting into the business, if I'm being completely honest, growing up, I hated cars. I didn't want anything to do with cars or anything like that. I was actually an athlete, and actually all started for me. I was a teaching professional golf pro at a country club in Ohio, where I'm originally from. And I had just finished playing a round of golf with one of the members, and we sat down to watch the Buckeyes game in the men's lounge there. And he got to talking to me about, hey, we're getting ready to hire some more technicians for our business. And just getting to talk with him, I honestly had no idea what he did. And so he's like, hey, I own this dent franchise. And I'm like, you know what? That sounds really cool. I think I'd like to do that. And he's like, no, it's not for you. I started at that country club when I first opened when I was 9 years old as a caddy, and kind of worked my way through the ranks of the cart barn and caddy program and everything else. So that's originally where it started for me. I was flown out to St. Louis to get trained on how to do paintless dent repair and stuff like that from the corporate business that I was working for at the time. And that kind of led to me joining what they call their hail team. And the hail team basically just specializes in doing hail repairs. It's not that we don't have the ability to do other types of dents and paintless dent repair. But when an area gets hit, just like with the roofing industry, the market's flooded with hundreds, if not thousands of companies and technicians and everything else. At that time, they worked a little different than I do now, where they had big insurance contracts. So you would go and you knew you were going to be fixing anywhere from 3, 5, 10,000 cars at a time. So we would bring our teams in there and set those up. And that's ideally what led me all over the US, Canada, Mexico, Europe. We did have those big insurance contracts, and the hail season in the U.S. is really only about 6 months long. It usually starts down here in Texas, late February or March, and ideally will, for the most part, stop in November. Oddly enough, the years that I worked with these other companies when I was traveling, I kind of had a cycle where I was down in Dallas, Fort Worth. So even though I officially moved down here 3 years ago when I bought the business, I had been working down here for 3 to 4 months for the last 12, 13 years. So I know the area very well, and it was always strange to me to come down and just see how everything was just blowing up year after year. But I'd usually spend most of my time here, Denver, Colorado, and Calgary up in Canada. And that's just kind of the way my personal hail season worked. Then, you were off basically for 6 months because there was no hail unless, there were really big storms. But generally, we tried to bring in enough guys to get everything taken care of quickly, kind of return the repair industry back to status quo to where, the locals and stuff that were there before can handle everything. And, we got shipped back out. And then we would be picked up by manufacturers. A lot of people don't realize even the plants where these vehicles are built actually get hailstorms the same way we do, just hanging out at our house. So I've worked in Germany several times at Mercedes-Benz and places like that. The last time I was over in China, oddly enough, they had a bunch of Hondas that were shipped from California back to China, and they were caught in a wind and debris storm. So it actually spit debris all over the cars. We had to go in, replace headlamps, chrome moldings, refinish the cars for them so that they could be sold again, just from sand and rocks getting kicked up and scratching the surfaces. So
those are brand new vehicles that were fresh off the production line that are getting damaged because they're just sitting around.
Correct. Yeah. So I think the last time I was in Stuttgart, I think we ended up doing about 9,600 vehicles that were just built, painted. They were basically sitting outside waiting to go onto trains and ships to be sent all over the world. And it's quite odd because, the last time I was in Argentina, basically the ships had just arrived into a town called Zarata that's just south of Buenos Aires. All these Volkswagens were sitting outside. I think we did about 7,000 of them at that port where they had just gotten shipped from being built. They got hit with this giant hailstorm, and they had us come in and repair the cars so that they could actually sell them still as new units. Because typically when you have a repair done, if you have to get in and do any type of paint work, and every state in the U.S. is a little bit different as far as what they classify as a new car versus a damaged car. The thing with paintless dent repair is when it's done properly, you can restore it exactly the way it was when it was built. and they don't have to actually disclose that the car was ever damaged because it's still technically in factory condition. And I would say Mercedes-Benz was by far the biggest test in any of it, because obviously the Germans are very proud of their vehicles and, you know, semi-skeptical of us coming in and repairing the damage on the cars the last time because it was so significant, which is odd because paintless dent repair was started in Germany many years ago, but not to the level of what we do to a car now. But we can actually get in there and they don't disclose to the dealerships or stuff like that. And that's always kind of the interesting thing when you're talking to people in different areas, because they're like, oh, there's nothing wrong with my car. It's brand new. I just bought it. And unfortunately, you know, there is transport damage and stuff that does happen here and there. And like I said, every state's a little bit different on their rules and thresholds of when they have to disclose something versus when they don't. But it was, for me, it was just an amazing opportunity when I was much younger and single and traveling all over the world and getting to see and experience different places and stuff that, quite frankly, I never would have had the opportunity to. Well, I may have had the opportunity, but it definitely made it a lot easier for me to get paid to go and do some work and see different parts of the world and history and everything like that, as well as meet new people and different cultures and learn different techniques and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And yeah, it's a lot easier to do when you're getting paid rather than, you know, with a backpack on your back staying in a hospital.
Absolutely.
No, that's super cool. You know, I'm guessing your bucket list item then is to do some paintless dent repair on Antarctica, right?
You know, my travel days are pretty much over. I did a lot of out for work. I won't say that actually. The whole reason I kind of got out of that was, you know, just getting older and stuff is like, you know, I sacrifice a lot of time away from friends and family. And again, I wanted to kind of build off of things that I had learned in the past and have something for myself, which is why I bought Metro Dent down here. And I love the area and the people, and everything's been so great. I like to travel. I like that to be more about pleasure. I get yelled at from my girlfriend all the time that we don't travel enough because all I do is work. But unfortunately, I love to do work too. So maybe one day again we'll travel, but it'll just be for pleasure, not for work.
Well, there you go. And
yeah.
Now I know I've got to put you on my short list of folks to tap on the shoulder when I need a foursome in a scramble. You know, if I'm going to win.
Yeah, right now my golf game is set up perfectly for a scramble. I actually played golf once last year for the first time about 2 years since I had bought the business, just because I'm up here so much. But another networking group member asked me to join this team, and I said, I'm pretty rusty from what I used to be, you know, but I'll go out there and do my best. And scrambles are great because I can hit a lot of really good shots, and I can also be brought back down to earth and go, yeah, this is what golf's all about. Apparently I forgot to do this or do that, but we had a lot of fun out there. I'd love to play golf with you.
All right, cool. Well, like I said, you were now on my short list, and our games seem like they're very complementary because I can bang the ball a bit, but oftentimes it's not straight. So, you know, it doesn't matter how far you hit it if it's not anywhere close to the fairway. So scrambles oftentimes work for me too.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Well, hey, let's take a quick break here, and we're going to talk about our other two sponsors that we haven't mentioned yet, and then Mike will come back and we'll talk about some of the services you guys offer and some of the things that set you guys apart from your competition. Sound good?
Sounds great. Yes, sir.
Awesome. All right, Landon, let's pull up some whichever one you want first. All right, we'll talk about Carrie. So Carrie Cook, awesome realtor, and happens to be the spouse of Daniel, who was our guest earlier. I have spoken to Carrie many times this week as we've had clients that could have been congruent potentially. But Carrie is with the Cavalier Realty Group with Keller Williams. She is awesome, and she is customer and client centric, right? She understands what your needs are, and she puts those into action in the marketplace. She knows the marketplace very well. She's provided stats on the show before I won't go through them now because they're slightly outdated, and they've actually gotten a little bit worse from a seller or from a buyer standpoint, I should say. The stats you provided basically show that we are in a seller's market here in DFW and most big metroplexes across the country. But in DFW in particular, we are in a seller's market. The inventory out there in several of the counties is below a month. And so if you're thinking about selling or potentially downsizing, upsizing, whatever change you might want to make, now is the season to do that. And if you need an awesome realtor, Carrie is your lady. So once again, Carrie Cook with the Cavalier Realty Group. You can reach her at 972-342-5763. And our next sponsor is Liberator Health Insurance. And Greg Holdberg is the owner of Liberator Health Insurance. He is a member of the Difference Makers here on the Difference platform. And his offering is very unique. And you've heard it before on the show. Greg's been a guest on this show in particular. But basically what it does is Liberator Health Insurance puts the choices and the control in your hands. You're not confined to a certain physician. You can go to whoever you want. The big thing there is you get choice and you get it at a savings versus what some of the bigger policy offers or offerings are that are out there. So if you're part of the government marketplace, believe it or not, you are not locked into that. You can get out of that. And if you call Mr. Holdberg, he can tell you how to do that. I won't read through all the details, but basically, you can see all the benefits there on the screen. Greg does offer or give an example of the deal of the week every week. And in this case, he was able to save a father and his three sons $372 per month. Actually, that's not the savings. That's the actual cost of the policy that he has in place for them. So for a father and his three sons, $372 per month, which includes dental. So that is amazing. You guys that are out there that have health insurance, even if you're with a corporation or a company that covers some of that, I'm guessing you're still probably paying more than that $372 per month. So if you're looking for any options, or even just want to talk about it with Greg, he's awesome because he listens to your needs as a potential customer or just a consumer of health insurance, right? And understands what you're looking for, and then can craft a plan for you. So please reach out to Greg. His name again, Greg Holdberg, independent health insurance broker, at 214-886-4688, or visit Greg at his website, www.liberatorhealthinsurance.com. And then our third sponsor, we talked about Daniel. We had Daniel on earlier, owner of Cook DFW Roofing and Restoration. So he does not only roofing, but he does do small construction type projects as well. You can see all the things that he has to offer on that list. We talked through some of them. The biggest thing is he's focused on you as a homeowner, looking out for your best interests, whether it comes to the inspection or dealing with the insurance companies. He is your advocate. So if you have any questions about potential roofing, especially as we get into the hail season, look up Daniel. He can be reached at 1-833-COOK-DFW or at www.cookdfw.com. All right. Awesome. Well, let's bring Mike back on, Lennon, if you could, and we'll get into a little bit more of what Mike and Autopia have to offer. And like I said, when I heard the deep dive on your business, Mike, I was blown away because you truly are a one-stop shop. So we might have to take up the next 15 minutes of the show with your list of different offerings that you guys have and different services you provide. But give us an overview of the things that you do. We talked about hail and dent repair. Obviously, that was what your background was, but you do it all. Go ahead and just tell us some of the specific things that you guys do.
Yeah, absolutely. I usually ask the question quite often, hey, what all do you do? And I usually tell people it's a lot easier for me to say what we don't do. We are a one-stop shop. So anything from oil change, basic car wash, all the way through full paint correction, full service, detailing. But basically anything from a oil change to frame off restoration, we do it all. We do a lot of, probably the most popular thing lately that we've been doing up until the hail, outside of the minor collision and body work that we do, would be vinyl wraps is very popular in the area, and paint protective film, or PPF, clear bra. A lot of people call it different things, but with all the stones and gravel and stuff that's out there, a lot of people want to get their cars in, protect that paint with paint protective film. So it's basically it's a clear vinyl or plastic that's going on the front of your car to help absorb all of the rock chips and stuff like that that are generally kicked up by cars. But the big fashion statement now is going around and doing vinyl wraps on cars. So unfortunately, I didn't send you any photos today, but I know you've seen them in some presentations we've done before. A lot of people are into, you don't want the full expense of changing the color of your vehicle, but maybe the sun's faded the paint or something else. You don't want to go out and buy a new car. You can actually put a vinyl wrap on it, make it look like a completely different vehicle, and change it up. And it seems to be like the newest accessory that everybody's doing to their vehicles and stuff in the area right now. To be honest, even though I wanted to do a lot of these other different things and stuff when I had traveled around, it's probably a very good thing that I did start doing them a lot sooner than I had planned, just because we've had a real lack of hail. And while we have a ton of repeat customers coming back who we may have fixed hail in the past, I'm always getting phone calls for, hey, do you guys change oil? I need a new set of tires. I got a fender bender. So that kind of also helped push me to, hey, I have all these people calling asking for help. They obviously trust us, and we're appreciated the service and quality that we provided them before. I certainly have the staff and the team that can handle all of this stuff. We definitely need to be providing some other services. So that's what kind of generated it. And honestly, it led into the marine side of things with the boats. We had so many of these customers, hey, you guys did so great on my car or my truck. What about my boat? What about my jet ski? And I was fortunate enough to know some great fiberglass and gel coat specialists, mechanics on the marine side. So it's just, one more tchotchke on the sleeve there to bring in some other services, and again, just create that one-stop shop that I want a customer to have that trust and appreciation that they're going to call me before they call anybody else to take care of them, and have me say, hey, no, that's something that we can't do, which I haven't had yet. It's not a challenge out there for anybody that finds something we can't do for you, but I always want to make sure that whenever we are going to do something that we can, stand behind it, because we do have a lifetime warranty and stuff on the work. And it's always been important to me, being a member of the community, that, I want to be able to walk around and be proud of, what we offer as a team here at Metrodent and Autopia, that I'm always wearing our shirts, and I'm very proud of what we have here. So,
well, and I tried to test you on the I haven't been able to say I can't do something mantra when I asked you or tried to put you in contact with somebody who was looking for an airplane repair. So I think it was like a smaller Cessna situation, and I don't think you guys ever ended up connecting, but maybe you did, but it was one of those that, you didn't tell me no. You said that you can actually go to the facility, because your facility, so folks know, it's big enough to fit boats in, underneath I'm not sure how tall your ceilings and roof is, but it's big enough to fit boats on a trailer in. Getting an airplane into the facility might be a little challenging, but you also are able to do some mobile work as well, right?
Yeah, something like an airplane we would typically do in a hangar. On top of all the cars and stuff we have in our main building right now, I have a 34-foot Formula and a 34-foot Sea Ray, and right now as well, and a couple other boats behind that. Airplanes, I do appreciate the referral. I did reach out to your friend, and we did have a brief conversation about some things. Airplanes is a little bit trickier than cars and boats. I have worked on some before, but the FAA has a lot of really, really strict rules
Right.
and codes that it can be done. But as I said before, you want to make sure you're doing something right. I see a lot of on social media, different forums of even automotive and RV detailers and stuff talking about how they're doing this or that to an airplane. And, some of the time I'm reading some of these things and I'm like, you're actually violating a lot of FAA or a lot of codes that, they're very strict. When you're putting a big piece of metal up in the air that high, even polishing on something, if they put a micrometer on that and measured and that wing isn't the exact same measurement that it was supposed to be, which you generally, when you're polishing on, whether it be a car or anything, you're actually removing clear coat, smoothing out the scratches. Same thing on a plane. If you're trying to polish aluminum or whatever it is, you're essentially removing something from it that was there. And 9 times out of 10, it's there for a reason. So yeah, we can do airplanes. I will be the first to admit I don't do a whole lot just because I'm very strict with how we do it. And I am fortunate enough that my body shop foreman actually is a aerospace engineer and has a lot of accreditations to do a lot of airplane and aerospace stuff too. So that was a close one, just for about a split second. But I know you thought you were going to get me, but
I've been
keep
told I have a
trying.
wicked curveball, so I'll keep throwing it at you. I'll see what I can do.
I appreciate that.
Well, and I do want to say, I want to give you a testimonial, I guess, on testimonials, right? So I've heard, personally heard countless testimonials on the services you guys do provide, and really how you've taken care of your customers. I say countless, I honestly don't know. 50 plus, more than that. All folks that I know, like, and trust that have said that. So it's just a testament to the way that you guys do business, your capabilities, and just really the way you guys handle yourselves. Your staff, I haven't personally interacted with them, but I've seen, testimonials on their capabilities and their histories, and that's invaluable. So that's my testimonial to the testimonials that I've heard on your business. So that goes a long way just to tell you, you guys are doing a great job.
Well, thank you very much, and I certainly appreciate your kind words and all the reviews and testimonials we get. You're only, you have the old adage, you're only as strong as your weakest link, and it is a team effort here. So I'm the type that I think that we can please everybody, and I know in business that's not always the case, or so I'm told. It doesn't mean I'm not going to try like heck to make sure that I'm trying to please everybody. Just again, the best type of business I think I can get is that repeat business, and then whoever the customer may be coming back because of how well they were taken care of the first time, and just the trust and quality of service.
For sure. And one thing I want to make sure that you point out, because I don't think we've touched on it yet, but when I heard your deep dive on your business, I thought it was really unique in the fact that you guys own your own fleet of what I'll call loaner vehicles, right? So, and it's self-owned, and it's available for folks who come in for a service and need a loaner car, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I do appreciate you bringing that up. Yeah, so I actually have 27 now. I did have to set it up as a separate company, just for insurance purposes. When we get a lot of hail customers or collision and stuff like that, customers will come in. We make it as convenient on you as possible. If it's a insurance related claim and you have rental as part of your policy, being a separate business, I can then charge the insurance company for the rental use and stuff like that. But for somebody who doesn't have rental as part of their policy, I'm still going to offer you a vehicle to drive, because whether it's a self-pay or dealing with insurance, some repairs, can't be done super quick to where you could wait on them. And in that case, I want the customer to have the ability to still be able to get around town, go to work, drop the kids off at school, anything. So we'll provide a loaner vehicle at no charge. We fill them up and say, hey, bring back with a full tank of gas. We put toll tags in them. We'll run the NTTA report. Hey, you had the car from Monday to Wednesday. Here's what you owe in tolls. So be the same way as if you were driving your own vehicle price wise. But it's just one more thing that we want to do to set ourselves apart from some of the big MSOs and body shop chains and stuff like that, aside from the fact that they don't offer near the amount of different services that we do. This is just one more thing that we can do to help out the average consumer that most businesses aren't doing.
Yeah, no doubt. And when I heard that, it kind of blew me away, because I've been through the ringer before, having to get shuttled to the nearest whatever Hertz or Enterprise, whatever the nearest place is, and sitting at their counter, and then you've got a bill, they only cover some of it. It's just an added hassle in a process that's already, stressful and overwhelming to some folks. And that just makes it that much more seamless. And the fact that you do it free of charge, I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, and I think that's probably, whether it's hail or collision, that's one of people's biggest gripe about the automotive side of things is the paperwork, the, fine print and everything else, whether it's with a rental car or company or an insurance company and dealing with a claim. And a lot of people, as we heard from Daniel talking on the roofing side, don't know all the ins and outs of the way things work. We want to make things as seamless here as possible. The conversations I have with customers, they come in, like today I had 5 customers come in with hail, and they're like, oh, my insurance company wants me to go out and get estimates, and I really don't have time for this. And I said, hey, if you filed a claim, all I need is your claim number. I'm very well versed in the insurance industry and what they need and what they expect. Most insurance companies, and it's not a knock to them, they know some people aren't going to fix their car. So from their side as a business, if they can give you 1,000 versus 2,000 of what it should be, they're going to do that until the vehicle gets to a repair shop. And once it's in a repair shop, as a business owner, you're going to reach out to them and say, listen, you're halfway there. They don't have any problem as long as you're a reputable business saying, hey, now I know the car is being fixed. We know we owe this. They're going to go in and pay it. So the conversation I have with my customers, hey, one of the other things that makes us different on the hail side of things is we'll actually waive your deductible up to $500. On the collision side, what I do is I discount the labor and take that money away from the deductible that you would owe. We're not cutting any corners or anything to do that. I've been asked by almost every major insurance company once I came down to the area, because most of their cat teams and stuff knew me from being all over the world, and they were all shocked that I was settling down here. They said, hey, we want you to be our preferred shop or this or that. Well, I would love to be them, but they go after the big MSOs to do stuff like that. They want to be able to control how that car's repaired. They're getting a discount on labor rates, so it's saving them money, which is why they are trying to steer a customer. Hey, we prefer you go to our preferred shop. That way we can warranty it. That's their business technique and how they want to run things. I would prefer to pass any savings that could be there along to the vehicle owner, who I think helps out the person a lot better. So we're not cutting corners. I am going to waive your deductible on hail up to $500, which makes it seamless to not turn in a claim. People are always worried, well, I don't have money for my deductible. I don't want to get it fixed. You have a nice car, outside of your house and your family, kids, and you spend a lot of money on a car. You should keep it looking good. So for me, it's a no-brainer. Bring it in. I'm going to be able to give you a free loaner vehicle, so you still have a way to get around. It's not going to cost you any money out of pocket, and we have lifetime warranty on all the work. So we get a lot of business because of that, and just our reputation and service.
Well, and that's awesome, and that's why I wanted to have you on the show today, because you are the unique offering out there in many different ways. Obviously, you've got a very vast experience on the hail damage side, but you're servicing your customers way different than the big box places, right? And that's unique in and of itself. And then number two, all the different offerings you have, right? All the different services you have. So, I mean, that really sets you apart. As I said, I've heard so many positive testimonials about your service. So, I'm glad you're able to join us on the show. Next time we get you on the show, we're going to have a full slideshow of all the cool stuff you've done for NFL running backs, wide receivers, and defensive ends, because those are pretty sweet.
Thank you much. No, I definitely have an endless supply of photos that I'd be happy to share next time.
Yeah, so that'll be our high-end service version of the show. But no, I think we are out of time here, Mike. But thank you for joining today. It was a pleasure to have you on. I'm glad you were able to spotlight your business, because it is something unique. So if anybody out there listening has any hail issues that are coming up, Mike Nosker is the first person you go talk to. He's going to take care of you.
I certainly appreciate the opportunity today with you guys and everything that you're doing.
Awesome. Well, with that, Mike, have a great rest of the day, rest of the week. And with that, we'll sign off. We will be back next Thursday, 1 to 2 p.m. Until then, we'll see y'all later.